I just figured I wouldn't tell you when I started.
Oh,
I'll just let you go.
I just had a feeling you were doing that. I was like, we're obviously past the start time here, and he hasn't chimed in.
Nope, that's exactly kind of what I wanted to happen. So thanks, Frank. Frank LoCrasto, um, keyboard extraordinaire. I was just realizing we had checked some of this stuff a couple of days ago, and every time you were sound checking, I found myself, because you can see yourself on the video. I was like, oh, oh. I was making those kind of weird noises and faces. I don't think I was making those noises, but at least those faces. Um, Frank, thanks for joining today because we're going to have you play a lot of music. And for friends that have joined already, I want to make a very important reminder, which is to make sure you have headphones on. And maybe you're sitting with your partner and you're on the couch. It's a chill Saturday night, and you want to listen together. Well, you can't. I'm sorry. You're going to have to go. Someone's going to have to get their other phone. They're going to have to sign on. You can follow my thing. I screwed all this up. Okay, this is not easy to get right, but you got to follow Gabriel Q2000, a weird login joke I made 20 years ago that stuck. That's what I am on Instagram. So if you're not there and someone else is having trouble getting there, have them follow me. It's in a little Fugues story in Instagram. It's a lot of talk about that, but
Follow Gabe's page. Don't follow the few.
yes, and thanks for driving that home, Frank. Put your earbuds in. Put your earbuds in, and you can sit next to your partner, and you're both watching. But it's going to be a lot better because Frank really took some time to make all this sound really good. So it's deep in my ears, and so that's what I'm going to be listening to, and I kind of want to make sure everybody's going to their happy places while they listen to Frank play. But Frank, maybe you just talk quickly about what you've been doing, like who you've been playing with pre-pandemic, during pandemic. What are you making?
I know. I don't even remember. It feels like ages ago. Um, yeah, pre-pandemic, uh, I was on tour with my band, literally right up until I guess less than a week before quarantine started. Um, and then the usual guys I've been playing with, I've been working with Cas McCombs for 5 years now. I don't even, maybe 4 years if you don't count 2020. Doing some stuff off and on with the Fruit Bats and Grateful Shred and uh, yeah, we're Breastfist, play with Breastfist and uh, whatever. Yeah, all kinds of different things.
I wanted to talk quickly about when I had a little musical crush on you for the first time. Um, so we had a band, Grant, who does the music for the Fugues podcast, called Monuments, and we played at a place called Grand Victory, which was in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, maybe I don't know how many years ago. And we were friends with Robbie Sinclair, who had a band called Laser Cake, and Robbie played some percussion with you guys that night. The band again is Breast Fist. I'll drop a link in there at some point. Um, and I remember you guys opened, and there were a number of outfits that people were wearing. Where I remember thinking, I don't know about this. I think you were pretty. You weren't trying to stick out. You were not wearing a shirt, but you were wearing pants. Were you wearing anything else? Was there anything? Do you remember your outfit?
No, it's always different. But
I remembered it. A wonderful uh, chest hair configuration. Actually, I was like, great chest hair. I know that. And then, but I think Bill, who was playing drums, was wearing a unitard that actually went over his head. He was playing a full-on unitard with like really short shorts. And then another guy was wearing a big sumo wrestler suit.
those
Is
Josh
that
Grease.
Josh Grease was wearing a sumo wrestler shirt? I remember thinking, how's he going to play guitar? He was playing guitar, and it was hanging off his body. It looked really difficult.
Yeah, Josh Meese. I'm pretty sure that was. I do remember that night vaguely. That was a while ago.
Yeah, I think it was a really long time ago.
Yeah,
Uh,
I came across some pictures from that night going through my hard drive during COVID. Just but
well, it turns out that's where I sort of I remember it being like, oh my god, that guy's so good. And you guys started though because I didn't have a sense that you guys were so good until you started a song and everybody sang a note, and it was off key. It was really off, but you all did it like perfectly. And it was like, and it got louder and louder. I was like, what the, oh God, this is going to be terrible. And then you all hit the same note like exactly perfectly, and then broke out in this like fun, funky rock song.
Yeah.
And it was like, and they're awesome. All of a sudden, it went from what a disaster, who are these clown dudes, to absolutely brilliant music that I still listen to. I don't know, 8 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. That sounds about right.
Um, so you are at a couple stations. We have you set up at a station here now where you're playing some piano, and then you're going to do some other stuff over at another station with some other instruments. So would you maybe give us a tune now on the piano?
Sure. Yeah. Um,
Thanks, Frank.
Yeah, yeah.
What was that called?
La Victoria. It's from a record I put out in 2019 called Lost Dispatch.
Mm-hmm. Um, yeah, that's one of my favorites, and it's one of those things where I listen to your music a lot. You don't have words in your music. Have you ever had anyone sing on your stuff?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, on my first record, Becca Stevens and I co-wrote a song that she sang on there, and I've also collaborated with Jess Martins a few times on some stuff for some film scores. Uh, but no, not usually. There, yeah, my music is pretty much all instrumental.
Right. I didn't know any of the stuff you've done with vocal, which I'm sure would be amazing with words. But I feel like in the last couple years, I've definitely listened to more instrumental music, however you want to define that. There's a million ways. But yours always puts me in a place, like an actual imagery comes up a lot in my mind. I think that's why I haven't been listening to music with words that much, because words sort of limit where your mind's going to be able to go. And it's a little freer without words sort of constricting where it is, your imagination takes you. And you have, I don't know what you're going to think about this, because I don't think I've told you that this is my vision of your music, but I think I wrote this down: apocalyptic tiki bar.
Oh wow!
Is that a shitty thing to say?
No,
Okay,
no.
good. I was worried for a minute, because I was like, that's what it's got to be. I just imagine uh, a indoor place that looks like it's outdoors. There's a ton of sand, umbrella drinks, and also we may be weighing really, really big issues while we're thinking about it. Maybe there's a nuclear apocalypse outside. Does
Yeah,
that ring any bells? Like, does your mind go there? But there's a thing I kind of want to explore with your music. The crazy places that my mind goes while I listen, are they in any way similar to the places that your mind goes?
it kind of takes a journey. Um, when I'm writing the songs, I don't really know where they're coming from. It's just kind of like maybe I'm like kind of hearing a melody that'll I'll be tinkering with for a couple weeks, and or a chord progression, and um, there's an idea, and then I'll write a song based on that. A lot of times there's not like a piece of inspiration like that. Um, I mean, I wish there were, because um, I don't know. It makes it sound like the songs I'm writing like don't really mean anything, or aren't coming from anything that's like substantial to people or the world. But afterwards, a narrative will kind of come together, you know. Um, and I don't know. Sometimes I try to connect that stuff with like imagery from like the record covers or the names of the songs. But at the same time, I try not to like push too much of my thing onto the listener. I kind of want them to have their own experience listening to it, you know. Um,
That's what I want. I kind of, but I suppose the question does it in any way map to it? Like, if you're thinking of writing a piece of music that just evokes a certain feeling, a certain emotion, uh, do you write it from that emotional place, or the sort of mental imagery of a thing? Like, my mind is probably moved emotionally by what you're writing, and then it spurs me to think about a number of kind of science fiction like things. That's probably a function of the way my mind works.
yeah.
But do you have a certain emotion that you try to communicate, or is it just this is the way the chord progression came together, and however it lands on people, it lands on them?
It definitely, there's an emotion. There's certain chord movements and inner voicings uh, that can really like lead to some sort of heavy emotional feeling, whether it's like party vibes or nostalgia, or you know excitement for something, or just sadness, or it puts you to sleep or something.
I like the meditative stuff, but there's a song that when you move over to the other station, I don't know if you're thinking of going back and forth between stations, like the electronic stuff and the organic stuff.
We could do that. Yeah, totally.
I don't want to put you, I don't want to put any pressure on you. But like the first thing that my mind comes to is Night People. And I'm not good at sharing the links of this stuff at the same time, but it's not like you're going to go listen to it right now. But it's a song I have on a playlist that's the, like, I've got stuff to do at night kind of thing. Maybe it's to go to dinner with somebody, and maybe it's to, thanks for taking the hint here, Frank, by the way, for moving over to the other station.
Yeah, I want to stay. Oops, sorry about that. I want to stay in your zone.
No, while you're doing that, I'll sort of explain why I'm talking about all this stuff, like the relation between the music and Fugues, which is a podcast about kind of conscious experience of moments. So for anyone that hasn't heard of that, there's a couple episodes out on the platforms. But the big idea is the word fugue. It's like my favorite word, and it's why I like doing this little series with musicians, because fugue has such a musical connotation. You know, it's a number of melodies played simultaneously, and it's just a specific form of music that Bach did really well, and a number of other composers. So it's like a bunch of melodies at the same time, but it also means kind of a psychiatric state of dissociation where people tend to go running off somewhere. It's like a state that has a beginning, middle, and end, just the way a piece of music has a beginning, middle, and end. And I feel like it maps to any sort of moment that we tend to have in our waking or dreaming lives, where there's sort of discrete moments, which is why I think songs are really cool, because each song is a little story of a moment, a beginning, middle, and end. So that's why I'm asking you all these weird questions, because I think maybe they're not weird. I don't know. But it's interesting to me to imagine music, because it's the most manipulative art form, I think. You know, it takes your mind to so many places. You know, when you played that last song, I was thinking of my childhood. Just, I don't know what exactly, but I was in some kind of comic book reading backyard, sitting on a chair on a summer day kind of thing that just started happening. So while you're playing that song, I'm in a fugue of all of a sudden time traveling to another place. And I think that's like, I just saw Mary make a point that it also means to run away, a fugue in French. She's French Canadian, so that makes sense. So I think that's a thing that I really wanted to do, was plant the idea of where anyone that's listening, I don't know how many folks are on right now. Looks like a nice handful on some platforms. I have a whole command center over here in front of me. But when you play this next song, I kind of hope that people will leave comments to sort of explain where their mind is while you're listening to it. Through two avenues. A kind of mood feeling avenue as one aspect of thinking about it, and then how it sort of flips you around in time to your memory, to being present in this moment and noticing what's around you, to imagining or fantasizing about a future.
Gabe, I feel like I'm going to let you down here. I'm not prepared to play that.
I don't think you have to worry about it. You just have to play your next song.
Okay.
What's your next song?
I'll play a song from that record.
You're not prepared to play Night People?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm fanboying right now. It's perfectly fine. I didn't.
Well, you gave such a great just about the course of the song and thinking about it and where it's going to take you. And I didn't want to cut you off, but I also didn't want to
disappoint.
Yeah.
I totally understand. No, it doesn't matter what song it is. Your stuff is so evocative. I think just hit us with the next thing.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, that's my other favorite one. Again, I saw myself because I can see myself in the video while you're playing. I caught myself doing this again. Like I gaze lovingly at you, Frank. Is that weird? Does it make you uncomfortable?
Yeah, it warms my heart. It makes me happy.
Okay, good. I've
I,
had a musical crush on you for maybe a little longer than is healthy, and sometimes I worry.
I'm flattered.
So I have a weird question for you.
Yeah,
Um,
let's get weird.
let's get weird. I was thinking about where my head was while I was listening, and Apocalyptic Tiki Bar does kind of hold up, I think, for that one, especially because of the top keys that you're playing. The Prophet there has such a sort of cool cinematic throwback sci-fi sound.
Mm-hmm.
But that aside, can you tell me what you were thinking about right as you were playing it? So the big thing that I'm obsessing about is what it's like to be in the moment of listening, which I have my experience of, but what's it like for you while you're playing it? Like, can you actually describe what was just going on in your mind while you played it?
Um, in this particular instance, I was weirdly thinking about the one thing I can remember thinking about because I was kind of just checked out for probably like almost all that, and
What
it
do you
was
mean checked out? What does checked out mean?
just like not thinking about anything, just like playing and just kind of immersed in the sounds and um, I don't know.
I
Playing
have this
also,
thing about. Oh, sorry, Frank. I just cut you off.
but no, it's cool. I was going to say also part of one thing about playing electronic uh, keyboards versus an acoustic one is it's almost like you're flying a little bit, like you're like a pilot. You have all this. You can't. It's harder to manipulate by touch uh, than it is on an acoustic instrument. So I have there's some guitar pedals down here on the floor. I have some echo. I have volume pedals to help be expressive, and then there's like filters and different things you can do. And so a lot of times I'm thinking about that kind of stuff, but it's not like really in the front of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Um, I don't know. That's all. I just wanted to throw that in there.
No, that's why I was curious because you've played this song many times for many years, right? Like, how many times would you say you've played it?
Uh, I don't know, probably 100.
100 times in a live setting.
Yeah. Well, maybe not in a live setting, but I've played it a lot. I don't know.
I bet it's more than 100.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think. I feel like if I played that many shows with my band since that record came out.
I'd say yes, but I
Sure.
haven't been to all of them.
Yes.
the The thing that is, I think, the weirdest part of it is that you don't have to think about doing it. It's just now a thing that you can do because what you just said was you weren't really thinking about it. It was just kind of happening, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And
mean,
also in this particular, to answer your question originally, you were like, what were you thinking about? And I was actually thinking about uh, when I wrote this song, and just like it was. You remember you used to have that recording studio on Hope Street,
mm-hmm.
and I literally the Prophet was on the floor in there for some reason, and it was real late one night, and I was in there after a bartending gig, and I was like playing around with this and kind of coming up with the song. The song actually wrote itself really quickly, um, but to answer your question, that is where my mind was at for some reason when I was playing this.
What was going on when you wrote it? Do you mind telling us, like, where your head was at? What was happening to you in that moment?
Um, I don't remember. I remember it was cold because that basement studio had no heat, so it was freezing in
It's
there.
very cold in there.
Um, that's all I can remember. I remember it felt satisfying to play it on the Prophet more so than on other instruments.
Why the Prophet? Prophet is, just for anyone that's not aware what you're talking about. Will you give us
Oh yeah, it's
a
this,
little
this
reminder?
right here.
Oh God, I love that thing.
Yeah, it was satisfying because it's very weighty in the low end. It's got some really nice kind of like crystally chime effects as you go up. It's got beautiful sounding modulation, and yeah, when you get back to the electronic instruments thing, it's like I don't know. As you can see, there's a lot of keyboards in here, and depending on songs I write, I'll move around to different keyboards, and songs write themselves differently on different keyboards, and I think any musician can attest to that who plays different instruments. I've written a song. I don't play guitar, but I've written a few songs on guitar, and it's like, there's a different thing that the music sounds totally different than it would if it was at the piano or the Rhodes. This is the Rhodes here,
Are
electric.
you telling us you're going to pick up a guitar?
No, thank
I've
God.
never seen you play guitar. But
It's
now,
upstairs. I don't. I play like three chords and then play it horribly.
will you do another one?
Yeah. Um, how about Oh, you know what? I've got this new song I'm gonna put out on a record this year, and I've
How
never
many?
played
You
it.
got a full record coming out?
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna get mastered here in like 2 weeks, and then I don't know. Hopefully, it'll come out in the summer.
Mm,
But
give it to me.
oh yeah, I will absolutely.
Frank, is that a new one?
It is. Yeah, it's not easy to perform in this setting because it's literally on the record. There's like a whole orchestra playing all these parts, and so there's not a lot of detail on what's going on. But I think you get the gist of like the harmony. Maybe not so much the time, but the melody and the harmony.
No, I had the orchestra playing in my head, so it was fine. You didn't need it. You might not even need it on the record.
Well, thank you.
Hey, I know you have a number of songs, and I almost feel like I would love to just keep hearing you play. Would you do another one?
Yeah, I might go back to the piano.
Okay. Do you want me to do some kind of interstitial music while you walk over there?
Yes.
Shit. I wish I hadn't promised that. I have nothing on deck. Some nice folks saying some nice things here for you as you play.
Oh, that's sweet. That's glad there's people watching.
Yep. In fact, Monty mentioned, I think in the song before that you were playing, Peaceful Joy, she said, from a memory of running through a field behind her grandmother's house, collecting buttercups and laughing while we discussed who likes butter. I actually don't quite know what she means by that. I think a lot of people like butter, but maybe they don't like it by itself. Just to point out, that you take people to some interesting places.
Cool.
Monty, maybe you can give us a hint as to what you were talking about there, about the butter comment. But Frank, we do another song on the piano?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, great. right, you must have had some in your head then. I mean, I'm on a journey. I'm on a journey over here. What's your journey?
Um, I, I wish I had something to say. Yeah, it was again one of those things where just kind of like checked out. You know,
You're. Is it that you're in the just the moment of it, and that's it? It's the most present moment you can possibly be in.
yeah, I guess yeah, it is. It's not always like that. I think when I'm playing solo, it is because um, as a pianist and a keyboard player and a sideman, when you're playing behind people, it's you can like drop out and stop playing and listen to the band and like enjoy how great they sound. And in this instance, there's like not really I can't drop out and stop playing, so I'm just like trying so hard not to mess up.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if I was like on tour doing this every night for a few weeks and then we did that interview, it'd be different. Because there's definitely times when I'm playing and I'm just like, you know, in the middle of the show, I'm thinking about, oh, I wonder what my wife Amy's doing right now. I wonder what, or it's, I don't know, thinking about like what we had for dinner or the hotel we're going to stay at later.
I think that's the weirdest part of playing music, where you can spin out into doing something else. Like when you're driving, you thought about 1,000 different things. The last thing you thought about was driving.
Yeah.
And it's probably pretty nuts for anyone that doesn't play music to know that experience. When I'm playing this fairly complex thing on an instrument that I've been playing forever, and I'm not really thinking about it. Like if you tried to think about what you were actually doing, at least this is my experience. Does it interrupt you? Would you screw up if you were? I don't want to plant a seed for the next song you play to think about what you're playing and then screw you up.
Sure. Yeah.
But would that happen?
Yeah, it could.
Okay, great.
Actually, I think it did happen in that last song, or not this song, but the one before it. Um, I hit a huge clam in that, and the first one,
A what?
clam.
I didn't. I've never called it a clam. A mess up. I'm assuming you mean.
Yeah, clam. Yeah. And then if you have a lot of clams, it's a clam bake.
Oof. I've had clam bakes. I've had bad dreams of performing because I get really nervous before shows. When Grant and I played in a band, and a couple other folks, Kevin, Mike, and a number of other Gordon, we everyone get all pumped up before you play a show. We played pretty loud rock, and every time before about 10 minutes, I'd be like, "Why do I do this? This is a nightmare. I don't want to do this." My body's basically in a full state of panic, and I feel like when your body almost has a voice that goes to your kind of you know you're aware of this other thing that's like, why are we doing, we're so frightened, are we being chased by a tiger, what's going on? And so actually no, we're fine, we're completely safe. I don't know what you're so worried about. We're just about to perform stuff in front of people. Like, do you have a way of managing jitters?
No, you just have to like deal with it, I guess.
Really? You never look jittered. You're such a chill guy.
Oh man, that first song, I was so nervous.
Really?
I could not. I mean, I'm still nervous right now, but um, I'm feeling a lot more relaxed. But
You don't ever look nervous. I've never seen you look nervous. I always feel like Monty, who lives with me, was just over there. She was like, "Your face is very red. Did you know that your face is red?" I was like, "I can feel it. I mean, I can't see it, but it feels red." And it's just this weird, like, physiological reaction to a thing that it's not a big deal. If you screwed up, who would care?
yeah,
And you didn't anyway, so it doesn't matter.
yeah,
Anyway,
it's tough.
oh, sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh, nothing. Just like when you're performing in front of people, it's like that shit is vulnerable. You are like it. And yeah, I tend to like I'll focus maybe a little too much on like judgment sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being judged. I'm like, oh man, that wasn't good. I'm definitely someone's thinking in their head about how much this keyboard player sucks and it sounds like shit.
Totally. I've never thought that, but in the podcast that we're doing, I have a co-host, and the co-host is my sort of asshole inner voice,
Oh,
and
yeah.
That guy has been such a dick for so long in my entire life. Like anything from playing soccer when I was a kid to a show where he's like, "Hey, you're no good at this. You're just not good at it. Okay, you're gonna screw up the show. Everyone's gonna hate you." And it's so convincing. Um, I don't know how common an experience that is for other people, but like, do you have that at all?
Yeah, yeah, totally, definitely. Um,
So good at not making it a thing.
I probably do make it a thing sometimes. Maybe not in performing, you know.
Yep. I just think it's so funny the contrast between what's actually happening in here versus how people perceive you. Um,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. That's
I was thinking, you've done a lot of originals. I was wondering if you would be up for a cover.
yeah.
Um, I think it's interesting the songs that, when you've been writing all your own stuff for so long, what are the songs that that you come back to? And I'm probably going to ask you some bizarre questions about that, but do you want to play one of those?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, great. Man, that is a good one. What is that song?
It's called Body and Soul.
Who wrote it?
I, the funny thing, I was thinking that while I was playing, I was like, Gabe's gonna ask me who wrote this.
I think that's an interesting phenomena. That sometimes you're living in a memory, and sometimes you're living in an anticipated future. I think that's one of those, like, you're thinking ahead while you're playing on total autopilot. You can do all this stuff in your sleep probably, and then tinker around and improvise as you want. But in a moment, there's like, is he going to ask me this question? And you anticipated it exactly.
I should know that. Playing that song for a very long time.
Why do you play it so much? What is it about it?
Well, I grew up playing jazz. I'm a jazz piano player, and uh, that's a standard song. That's like a standard in the repertoire, and one you learn at an early age, or you learn early in your quest to.
There's a comment that Marie Kim left. She knows the composer, the writer.
Yeah, who is it?
Johnny. Nothing. I thought that Johnny would give it away. Johnny Green. It turns out.
Johnny Green.
I thought you were going to finish my sentence.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought you were going to go Johnny Green. Yeah, it's obviously Johnny Green.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. It's
in there.
Yeah, it's not one of those guys like it wasn't one of those old Broadway songs. I don't think it wasn't like Hammerstein or Rogers and Hart. It was. I knew it was somebody like kind of off the cuff. I was like Johnny Green.
Johnny Green. Marie got it. I mean, I think I haven't verified it, but she tends to know stuff like that. She's done one of these with me as well. So I wondered, could we do 2 more to play us out?
Yeah.
Would you be up for it?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, great. What are you going to play next?
How about I've got about a new one.
Please.
Yeah, this is actually it's going to go on the new record. It's a solo piece. I'm gonna have to look at a chart though because I don't know it really.
Aren't the hammers going to knock off? They're going to knock the chart off the thing there.
I've got I got a thing.
And the hammers are not going to hit the thing.
I don't think so.
All right, well, let's see what happens. Thanks, Frank. Totally new. That's the first time I've heard it. Loved it. Man, let's just do another hour of you playing. I figure we'll do one more, but this being written in the last year, I'm guessing. Is that true?
Yeah, it was written in August last year.
There's a lot of pieces of music that were written in bizarre times in history. Does any of the, I don't know, insane madness that's been happening in the last year influence, do you think, what that is, the piece that you just wrote?
I'm sure it has. Yeah. Um, yeah. I don't know. It's, we live in New York City. This has been so crazy for us. Um, my anxiety was just like insanely through the roof for like, I think everybody's was, the first few months of this when it was tough, and yeah, and everything that followed last summer, uh, the election, it's just like one thing after another. Uh, I mean, absolutely. I would.
Was there anything that resonated about, when you're sitting down and making this? Because the more you talk about it, the more it feels like things just sort of unfolded and came out, but not with any particular logic behind it.
Yeah, I think part of it is maybe the neighborhood I live in. Um, I live in Crown Heights in Brooklyn, and it's an amazing neighborhood. It's wonderful, and my neighbors are all lovely, beautiful people, and have really been very kind to each other during all of this, especially in the beginning, and people were just
Freaked
quarantined,
out.
freaked out, but you're also at home the whole time. And then, the weather starts getting nicer and people are sitting on their stoops and literally just walking down the street. People just say hi to me. It's just like, whoa, smile. Hey, man, how's it going?
You're seeing like a positive aspect of everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Which I think is something that this city is, it does. There's a brotherhood in this town. And that's one of the reasons why I love living here. People here watch out for each other and take care of each other when things get hard. And um, that was really apparent here in my neighborhood during all of that during 2020.
Jeez, Frank, you're making me feel so good about all this. Everything has been so doom and gloom. Like you're having a community bonding experience through all of this. It sounds amazing.
I guess, yeah, sort of. I mean, yeah, I'm I'm glad it it ended up being that way around here. God knows it wasn't that way all over the place, but
I mean, I'm in Greenpoint. You're in Crown Heights. It was sort of like that in Greenpoint, but not totally.
yeah.
Um, well, listen, I was hoping we could do one more. I don't know if you're going to take it to continue in your piano station or move to your electronic station. But can you do one more song for us?
Yeah, totally. Maybe we'll switch over to the keyboards.
Okay, come on over there.
Uh,
Uh, I'll put like a little thing in the chat with a link to your music so that people can go check you out if they haven't heard of you before.
oh,
While you go do that, I'm doing that right now. Sort of.
yeah, good. Thanks for having me, man. This has been really fun, and um, I love hearing you talk and ask these questions, and I like where your mind is at, and um, it's cool. I'm looking forward to checking out future episodes of your podcast.
Thanks, Frank. Yeah, honestly, this has been a big soundtrack. A lot of your music for me in the last number of years, seeing it live, having it in my earphones all the time. It's really been fun to watch you play it. Actually, it's an intimate little setting instead of a big club or somewhere else or touring with Cass McCombs or the Fruit Bats. You're just chilling with us. So thanks for doing it.
Oh man, my pleasure. Thanks.
What are you going to take us out with?
Um, maybe There's this Duke Ellington, Carl Sigmund song I learned last year. It's called "All Too Soon." I think I'll do that one.
Yes, yes, please.
Chimey.
Super chimey. I did not know that song. It's Duke Ellington.
Yeah, Duke Ellington, Carl Sigmund. I don't know where those guys cross paths, but yeah,
I know the Duke. I don't know Carl.
yeah. He did some writing for TV and movies back in the '50s. His biggest hit was Ebb Tide, um,
A
which
song?
yeah, it's. I mean, I'm sure you've heard it. It's on like it's been recorded like probably thousands of times. Um, really beautiful song. Um, but Carl wrote that. Carl and
Yeah, it's a beauty. It's a real beauty. I just wanted to call out and remind everybody, Frank LoCrasto. There's a bunch of comments in there where you can find out more about your music. You've got a number of albums out there, one coming out, and I hope when all of this shit gets better, that you're back on tour with your own stuff, and some of the other projects that you're touring with, Cass and Fruit Bats, and
oh, we will. We'll be back on it.
I cannot wait. I don't think there's anything I've missed more than acquaintances. You know, like we're with our close people, our family, the like really inner nuclear folks, but the satellite folks that are on the outside of that. I rarely see the people that I really like, but we don't have a lot of reasons to hang necessarily. That's the part I miss the most. That and live music. So psyched to get you back out there. Would you
Amen.
do one more, and then when you're done, we'll shut the whole. Do you have one more for us? Do you think
Yeah, I can pull something out of my pocket.
you have something in the back pocket? Like, are you going to make it up, or is it one that you've done before?
Uh, I've never played it solo, but I'm going to try it now, I think.
Okay, great. Frank LoCrasto, thanks everybody for hanging out with us for the last little while. This was about a 80-minute fugue of listening to Frank play and me blather on. It was so wonderful to have you all here. So please go check out Frank's music, and if you're interested in hearing some stuff that Fugues does, there's a link for you to check out there. We'll see y'all later, and thanks Frank again, and play us out.